First of all, I express my vanakkam, namaskar to the faculties, staff members, and management of Sangam Talks, and the august audience, eminent professors, scholars, and other dignitaries who are attending this session. I express my heartfelt thanks again to Sangam Talks for arranging this lecture. In this session, I am going to narrate about the date of Mahabharata War. It is a 3 consecutive series of lectures. We are in the third part. In the first 2 parts, I explained how Mahabharata is a history. What are all the proofs for that? And I explained how it is linked to Kali Yuga in timeline. That is just 36 plus years before Kali Yuga, Mahabharata was fought. That I explained. And also the 26 astronomical events that were described by Vedavyasa in his text Mahabharata. I explain all those things in the first part of the lecture. In the second part, I explained what method, that is astronomical and trigonometric mathematical calculations and astronomical constants, as detailed in the ancient astronomical texts of our beloved nation. I explained based on that method only, I calculated the date of Mahabharata, and I explained the 3 important astrological aspects which are should be known to derive the Mahabharata date. That is the Graha Drishti, Nakshatra Drishti, and Rasi Drishti. After that, I analyzed the 23 astronomical events, that how it exactly correctly explained the astronomical events described by Vedavyasa in his text. And in this last session, I will explain the remaining 3 parts, and also I will analyze how this date 3143 BCE, that is 42nd year before Kali Yuga, how it corroborates harmonious, and it is corroborative with the other field of science, that is literature, chronology, epigraphy, and archaeology, how it is exactly harmonious with those scientific fields date. After that, I will explain why I have used this astronomical dating method based on astronomical data that were explained in the astronomical events. After that, I conclude with the concluding remarks. I will conclude these 3 lecture series. I have been already introduced well by Sangam Talks that I am an ophthalmologist and also archaeologist, epigraphist, and historian. These are all my contact numbers. Any doubts, a mail ID also I have given. Any doubts in this lecture, any queries can be directly, they can ask. I welcome it. Now, the 3 lectures are based on what I have read in these 2 books. That is Astronomical Evidence of Date of Mahabharata and Kali Yuga Inscriptional Evidence. Both are available in Amazon.in. Before going to exact lecture, today is solar eclipse on Saturday. Now the solar eclipse is there. It has already started by 11 o'clock around that. It is in Vrichika zodiac sign. Last session I explained why Mahabharata war happened. Because all the 7 graha are in Vrichika zodiac sign. Mars was also there. And Vrichika is ruled by Mars, who is the deity for war, and also exactly pointed out by Professor Raman sir that he is also deity for blood. So blood and war happened. I compared it with the 2019 eclipse, which proved correct because of this pandemic, 2019 pandemic. So today also the solar eclipse is there, but luckily because moon's declination is more than 20 degrees south and sun's declination is also more than 20 degrees south, so it will be visible only in the Antarctica, the southern pole of Earth. So even though it occurred in daytime, it should be visible in India, but because moon's declination and sun's declination is much in south, it is visible only in the south. And further, we escaped because only 4 graha are in Vrichika zodiac sign. Usually when there is a solar eclipse, sun, moon, and either one of the Rahu or Ketu will be in conjunction. Now only Mercury is with that. Mars is not entered Vrichika zodiac sign. So there may be situation that may arise, that war may happen. But as per this, Mars has not entered, war may not happen, and much damage will not happen due to this solar eclipse. And one, my humble request is, on this solar eclipse or any lunar eclipse, we have to remember our ancestors who are passed away, who are no more. And we should worship them today. And who is the father of this universe is Brahma. And Brahma born from the lotus, from the umbilicus of Vishnu. So ultimately, Brahma and Vishnu and Shiva with their Devis, they are the forefathers of us, so we should worship them also. It was clearly expressed by Kalidasa that when he explained Shiva and Parvati, he compared the words with the meaning. We cannot separate. In the same way, we cannot separate Parvati from Shiva. How he compared? So that is always we say, because Kalidasa explained, worshipped Shiva and Parvati as the Loka Mata and Loka Pita, and on worshipping Shiva and Parvati, how he compared? That he compared the words and the meaning. Both cannot be separated. Like that, Shiva and Parvati cannot be separated. They are the Loka Mata and Loka Pita, so I worship them. So, for Upamana, we got to say Kalidasa. Kalidasasya Upamach. And the same thing, the Bharavis for Artha Gauravam, Dandi for Padalalityam, and Mage for all the three. There is one sloka in this thing. So, Lokamata and Pita should be worshipped. And our ancestors who are passed away, who are no more, should be worshipped on this day. That we have to do it. And coming to the lecture part, Bhishma Mukti. First, next point is Bhishma Mukti. Bhishma himself told in Anusharasana Parva that Ashta Panchasadam Ratraha. That is 58 nights. Ashta is 8. Panchasadam means 50. Panchasadam is 50. So, Ashta Panchasadam means 58 Ratraha. What he mentioned is Saresu Nisida Agresu. Sara means arrow. Nisita Agra means sharp arrow bit. It was on sharp arrow bit for 58 nights, and it looks like it is 1000 years. Varsasadam. So, in the next sloka, Bhishma mentioned is Mahoayam Samanuprapto Masaga. That is in the month of Magha. And Saumyo, that is in the calculation of Chandramana, Yudhishthira. Suklo Paksha Bhavida. Sukla. So it is in Sukla Paksha Magha Masha. In the Chandramana calculations, he attained Mukti. That is what explained by Bhishma. And in Gorakhpur and Kumbhakonam and southern recension of Mahabharata text, in the Santi Parva, it further mentioned Sukla Pakshasya. That is, it is in Sukla Paksha, that is from Amavasya to Paurnami. And Cha Ashtabhyam, that means 8th Tithi, Magha Masasya. Prajapatye cha nakshatre, that is at the Rohini nakshatra, because Prajapatye is the presiding deity of Rohini. Madhyam Prapte Divakara, that is at midnoon. In Uttarayana Punyakala, Bhishma attained Mukti. That was all mentioned by Bhishma in Santi Parva. And further in Santi Parva, Sri Krishna himself told that from the 10th day, after the 10th day of war, Bhishma was left only with 56 days to live. Panchasat, that is 50, Shat is 6. So, Panchasat Shat Cha Kuru Pravira Sesham. That is remaining days is only 56 days. So, this is the giving all three sloka, giving exact 4 sloka, giving exact time of Bhishma Mukti. So, if we calculate that the war has started on the Ditiya Tithi of Sukla Paksha of Margashirsha month, that is after Kartika month, after the Jeshta Amavasya, which was told that Sri Krishna, that 7 days or more for the Amavasya, Jeshta, etc., and war should be linked with that day. But somehow it has delayed 1 or 2 days. So on the Tidiya Tithi of Sukla Paksha, the war was started. Then Bhishma was fought on the 10th day and was on sharp period bit on the Ekadashi of Sukla Paksha. From that, if you calculate there is a 11th day of war from Margashirsha. So in Margashirsha there are 19 days and 30 days in Pushya month and 7 days in Magha month. That will equal to 56 days, as told by Sri Krishna. And how we can account for the 58 nights? So 10th day of war, and that night also Bhishma was on the Sar Parabit. So 20 nights in Margashirsha month, 30 nights in Pushya month, and Bhishma Ashtami, so 8 days, 8 nights. So it is also calculated as 58 nights. That is 15 of Krishna Paksha from Margashirsha month and last 5 nights of Shukla Paksha from Ekadasi, including Paurnami, Amanta calculations. So that also tallies with the 58 nights. If the 10th day was Shukla Ekadasi, then the first day of war should be Dvitiya Tithi of Shukla Paksha of Margashirsha month. That also correct. Besides, the Kumbakonam edition, Southern Resistance and Gorakhpur editions mentioned that Bhishma attained Mukti and Rohini Nakshatra. The moon revolved all the 27 nakshatra in 27.32 days. So for 2 sidereal months, 2 revolutions, it will be 54.64 days. That is almost 55 days. So on the 10th day of war will be 2 nakshatra before Rohini Nakshatra, either at Bharani or in Ashwini. So then 10 days before that will be Uttara Ashada, Purva Ashada, that is Dvitiya Tithi of Shukla Paksha. In that way also it will fit with the 56 days calculation of Sri Krishna and 58 night calculation of Bhishma and Vedavyasa. So it is fully satisfied. It can be shown that not only in Amanta, even in Paurnamanta. Amanta month calculation means the month, this Chandramana month starts from the next day of Amavasya. That is from Shukla Paksha. Paurnamanta is next day of Paurnami, that is with Krishna Paksha. But this 58 nights and 56 days will be same in both Amanta and Paurnamanta calculation. This chart will show. This is Amanta month calculation. In this, what is the difference between Amanta and Paurnamanta month? You can see this is the beginning of Margashirsha month. But in Paurnamanta, it was advanced by 15 days. That is, the Krishna Paksha is included in Margashirsha. That is the difference. There is nothing else. Only the name of the month changes in the first 15 days of the month. So in this, the remaining days after 10 days away, 21 to 22 days, that was there in Magha month. Because first Magha month in Paurna month, Krishna Paksha will come and Shukla Paksha will come later. So this 21 to 22 days here, this 7 to 8, 9 days will be here. So both are same. That we can understand from this chart. Since Bhishma Mukti took place after Pushya month, in Magha month, definitely it is Uttarayana period. So Bhishma attained Mukti in Uttarayana period is satisfied. And we are celebrating Radha Saptami, that is complete turning of the Ratha of Surya towards north. That is Radha Saptami, well celebrated in Tamil Nadu and all over in our nation Bharat. And Bhishma Ashtami is the 8th day after Radha Saptami. Ashtami is 8. So we are celebrating Bhishma Ashtami also. In that way, it is totally satisfied Bhishma Mukti. On Ashtami Tithi, Shukla Paksha of Magha month, that is well satisfied. And the late rise of moon after sunset on the 14th night of war, that should be satisfied. If the first day of war was Dvitiya Tithi, Shukla Paksha Margashirsha month, then 14th night will be Dvitiya Tithi of Krishna Paksha. See, we have to understand, in Shukla Paksha, that is from Amavasya to Paurnami, the moon will rise before sunset. So on Amavasya day, it will be in conjunction with in the same longitude with the sun. So in the east, it will rise with the sun. It will set with the sun in the east, west. Slowly, because moon is going away from by 12 degree every day, every tithi, it rises along with the sun delay. So in Shukla Paksha, it rises before sunset, but in Krishna Paksha, it rises in the east after the sunset of sun in the west. That we have to understand. So on the 14th night, it is Dvitiya Tithi of Krishna Paksha, if the war was started on the first day of war first day on the Dvitiya Tithi Shukla Paksha. So 14th night will be Dvitiya Tithi because 14 days the Paurnami would have occurred. Because in the previous cycle, the moon covered 16 nakshatra in 13 days. Moon's velocity was much higher. So this also should be carried in the next cycle. So there will be 14th day, the Paurnami will be there. So Dvitiya Tithi Krishna Paksha and is the 14th night war. And on that day, Kurukshetra is in Vilnar and it is Margashirsha month. Sun's declination is much south. That is at the near the Tropic of Capricorn, that Makara Rekha. So the sunset will be earlier in Kurukshetra, that is 5:25 p.m. and twilight had gone around 6 p.m. Moon will rise on that day by 7:45 p.m. in the night. After, because 2 days are after the Paurnami. So 7:45. There is at least 2 hours gap between the twilight and the moon rise. So there will be dark. Definitely darkness will be there. So for at least nearly 1 hour. So Arjuna told that we have to stop the war because we cannot see persons opposite us. So we will sleep till moon rises. After moon rise at 7:45, the war again started. So that also fits well with the first day of war at Dvitiya Tithi Shukla Paksha Margashirsha month. Some persons are saying that the war has started only in the Shukla Paksha Margashirsha in Ekadashi Tithi. If we apply, what will be the result? That also we should see. So if the war was started in Ekadashi Tithi, then 14th day of war will be Ekadashi Tithi of Krishna Paksha. So on that day, moon rise will be after 1 p.m. 1 a.m. in the midnight. After midnight, 1 a.m., the moon, 1 or 2 a.m. will be the moon rise. So twilight had gone by 6 p.m. So 1 muhurta is the resting period. So from 6 to 12, 6 hours, how people can fight in the dark without sunlight, without moonlight. And you understand, definitely you will accept that there were no floodlight on these days. Are you accepting that there were no floodlight? I am saying. So there were no floodlight, there were no moonlight, there is no sunlight. How can people fight for 6 hours in the dark? They may fight for half an hour or 45 or at the maximum 1 hour, not beyond that. So it is not logical, it is not practical. And further one point is, on the Ekadashi Krishna Paksha, the moon reflecting surface will be very minimal. See, near Paurnami, the whole, all 360 degree, that one entire surface of the moon will be reflecting sunlight. But when it reaches towards Amavasya, the reflecting surface will be reducing like this. Only this much will be there in Ekadashi. So the moonlight intensity is very minimal. Even after moon rise, they cannot fight each other because moonlight will not be sufficient. This is practical. We can verify on Krishna Paksha Ekadashi, if we go out and see after moon rise in the east, how much light will be there. And if in the Dvitiya Tithi, that is 2 days after Paurnami, if you go out after the moon rise, you can see how much moonlight will be there. You ourselves can practically assess this fact. So this definitely fits, my date fits with the late rise of moon in the 14th night of war after sunset. That also satisfied. Then coming to the Balarama's Tirtha Yatra, there are 2 sloka. When I wrote the book, somebody totally, it was debunked because what they thought, the war should end at Shravana Nakshatra based on this sloka. Satwarim, that is 40, Dive, so 2, 42 days. Ahan means day, so 42 days. Pushyena, so the starting point of the journey, Balarama Tirtha Yatra is Pushyena. They conclude like that. Shravane, here Shravane is there. So Shravane, Punaragataka. Shravane, they take days Shravana Nakshatra. So Balarama started the Tirtha Yatra and Pushya Nakshatra, and after one complete revolution of 27, Then the next Pushya Nakshatra to Shravana, it will be 42 days. So the war should end at 42 days at Shravana Nakshatra. That is their calculation. If I says war has started in Amavasya or Titiya Shukla Paksha, war will not start complete at Shravana Nakshatra. Definitely not. It will be around Pushya or before that. So based on that, they told my calculation is wrong. But there is another sloka mentioned in Salya Parva, in the same Salya Parva. Tato Manyu Pariti. That is, Manyu Pariti means with anger, with more concern. Kaladaraha. Kaladaraha means Dara who is carrying. Kala means pluck. That is Balarama. Saraswatyam Tirthayatra. So he started his Tirthayatra. Saraswati Nadi Tirthayatra. With whom? Sakitaga Sarva Yatavaihi. With all Yatava, his people, Balarama's people. What is the important thing is Maitra Nakshatra Yogeshma. When the day is, Yoga means union. When the day is united with Maitra Nakshatra. Mitra is the preceding deity of Anuradha Nakshatra. So he started his Saraswati Nadi Tirtha. Because Saraswati Tirtha Yatra definitely clearly mentioned in this. In the Maitra Nakshatra, that is Anuradha Nakshatra. So the 42 days started from Anuradha Nakshatra. Then why Pushya is there? And why Shravana is there? That also I explained before completion. So Pushyana means, after start, that is, when Arjuna and Duryodhana requested the help of Sri Krishna, that is Yatava army, Arjuna selected Sri Krishna. That's why when we select Sri Krishna, he will be with us. Throughout the war, Sri Krishna saved Arjuna, but his army didn't save Duryodhana. So we should be total surrender at the feet of Sri Krishna. That was the thing mentioned in that Mahabharata. That we should understand. So Arjuna selected Sri Krishna, and Duryodhana was happy because he got all the army of Yatava. But Balarama understood that wherever Krishna is there, there will be victory. So Krishna is siding with Pandava. So he argued with Sri Krishna, but Sri Krishna told, it is not in my hand. Arjuna selected me. What can I do for that? So because of that much concern, he started his Tirtha Yatra, and I won't participate in the war. I will be neutral. Neutrality is not correct thing. You should be sided with Dharma. That is the correct thing. I am neutral. That is not correct thing. We should be Dharma. So Sri Krishna did Dharma, and Balarama started Tirtha Yatra and win Anuradha Nakshatra. But Sri Krishna went for peace mission. On hearing that, Balarama was happy. So something may come out and the war will be prevented. Like that, he was happy. So he visited Upaplavyam, where Sri Krishna was with Pandava, to know the result of the peace mission. And that day is Pushya Nakshatra. So on Pushya Nakshatra, he met Sri Krishna and Pandava at Upaplavyam. But since peace mission is a total failure, she again restarted this Tirtha Yatra and the Pushya Nakshatra. That's why Pushyana is there. What about then Shravana? It should be meant Shravana Nakshatra only. But if you analyze the dictionary, Sanskrit dictionary, there are two meanings for Shravana. One is hearing. Shravana means ear also, Karna, and also act of hearing. Shravane, it is in 7th Vibhakti, but Pushyana is 3rd Vibhakti of Sanskrit. In 3rd Vibhakti, it definitely means Nakshatra, but in 7th Vibhakti, it may not mean Nakshatra. This is explained in the Panini's Ashtadhyaya, the Sanskrit grammar text. In the second part, 3rd Adhyaya, 45th Sutra, Nakshatre cha lupi, that is the Sutra. In that, they give one example. Panchaleshu vasati. It is expressed, Panchala is Panchab, Panchala Desha, Panchaleshu. That is in 7th Vibhakti. Vasati is living. He lives in Panchala Desha. Here 7th Vibhakti is used because Panchala doesn't mean Nakshatra. But when you mean Nakshatra, it should be used in 7th Vibhakti, in 3rd Vibhakti. That's why here Vyasa put it Pushya in 3rd Vibhakti but Sravana in 7th vibhakti, because it doesn't mean nakshatra, but it means the hearing here. Why hearing is here? Because on the 18th day of war, Narada met Balarama. He is doing Tirtha Yatra near Kurukshetra, and he explained the details of the war so far happened, and also he informed him that his two disciples, that is Bhima and Duryodhana, is going to fight Gata Yuddha. So on hearing that, Balarama hastily went to Kurukshetra to visualize that. So on hearing the words of Gata Yuddha from Narada, Balarama Sravane Punaragataka. So again he met Pandava and Sri Krishna. Punar Agataka. So because in Pushya he left them, and on hearing this he again joined them. That is the meaning. So this is one explanation as per Sanskrit grammar. Practically also we can say that it is only definitely means act of hearing, because if the war has to end on Sravana Nakshatra, that is 18th day, then war would have started in Mrigashirsha Nakshatra, that is the Paurnami of Margashirsha month, or before that Rohini Nakshatra. Okay. So the 14th night of war will be nearer to Amavasya. Amavasya and Margashirsha month usually happened in Purvashada Nakshatra or Mula or Uttarashada. So 14th night will be 2-3 days before, that is Triyodasi or Chadurdasi. Maximum Triyodasi, Tithi of Krishna Paksha. I have already told Yagadasi Tithi itself, the moonlight is not sufficient, and moon will be rising 1 o'clock in the morning. Now it is Triyodasi, it will rise only after 2 o'clock. So the war could have not fought on the 14th night. Only when it is nearer to Paurnami, the war can be fought in the night. So that also totally contradicts the concept of taking Sravana as Nakshatra. So it is practically also not correct, grammatically also not correct. So that is a correct explanation is Balarama started this Tirtha Yatra in Anuradha Nakshatra, and on hearing the peace mission, he met Pandava and Sri Krishna in Pushya Nakshatra in Upaplavyam, and since it is a failure, he again restarted his Tirtha Yatra and ended that Tirtha Yatra on the 18th day of war on hearing the Gata Yuddha, Bhima and Duryodhana. So Sravana definitely means only hearing. If you calculate number of days from Anuradha to 18th day of war, it will be definitely 42 days. So that is also satisfied. So all the 3 points I got satisfied. So last session one person has asked, it is only 36 years of course, but you are saying 41 years, 5 years more. I got to explain that also. So this all these 9 parva, this is adhyaya number, this is sloka number. All these 9 parva of 18 parva, 9 out of 18, in the Mahabharata text mentioned that Mahabharata war was fought just before the beginning of Kali Yuga, and 36 curse is mentioned both in Sri Parva and Mausala Parva also. So in Mausala Parva, these are all the adhyaya number and sloka number. It mentioned the 36 years of curse, and also in the 3rd adhyaya 1 and 7 sloka, what it mentions, kasyachit tvadakalasya. That means sometime further after the 36 years of curse. So it is not just 36 years. Kasyachit tvadakalasya, that is sometime more than that. And also Sri Krishna advised in the 3rd adhyaya that all Yadava, because worst calamity is going to happen, so Yadava should go to pilgrimage to seashore places. So they went to spend some time in visiting all the seashore pilgrimage and holy places, and they stayed for some time in Prabhasapattanam as per the advice of Sri Krishna. So it is not 36 years, but some time. It may be years also, months also, something. But it can be explained that 5 years can be explained based on this. So it again proves that the gap between time interval between Mahabharata war and the Kali Yuga beginning is definitely more than 36 years. At least 36 years. We have to understand. That we have to understand. Now, I have to explain how other fields of science, that is literature, epigraphy, archaeology, and chronology, how it corroborates with my date 3143 BCE. Aryabhattiyam, he mentioned Aryabhatta, Bharatat Purvam, that is Satya, Dwapara, and Treta Yuga were gone before Mahabharata Yuddha. And he didn't mention how many years of Kali Yuga were gone, because he didn't mention Kali Yuga at all. So that means Mahabharata war happened at the tag end of Dwapara Yuga. That is one evidence. So that fits well with my date. And Viruddha Garga and Varaki Migra mentioned two things in these two sloka. Kali Dwapara Sandautu Stitaste Pitru Daivatam Munayo. Asan Magasu Munayaka Sasati Prithvim Yudhishtiro Nirupatav. That is the sloka. What these two sloka mean combinedly? That the Kali Dwapara junction and the years of the ruling period of Yudhishthira both are one and the same in terms of time. So Yudhishthira ruled the Bharat when there is a Kali Dwapara junction. So Yudhishthira won the Mahabharata war, and definitely Mahabharata war would have happened just before Kali Dwapara junction. That also favors my date. And astronomical texts like many texts, Kalidasa Jyotirvidaparanam, Brahmaspata Siddhanta, Siddhanta Siromani, Vadeswara Siddhanta, Shishya Diviridha Tantram, Mahan Lagu Bhaskariyam, all these mention that Vikrama Samvat, which was started in 57 BCE, is 3044 years after Yudhishthira, and Salivagana Saga of 78 Common Era is 3179 years after Yudhishthira. Then from Vikrama to Salivakana, Yudhishthira is the time interval, 3044 or 3179. This was that Yudhishthira rule was around 3101 BCE. So that also favors my date. Especially Jyotirvidaparanam of Kalidasa, in the 10th Adhyaya, in the 109, 110 sloka, clearly mentioned that Yudhishthira to Vikrama 3044 years, Yudhishthira to Salivakana 3179 years. This was also corroborated by the following astronomical texts. This is the Kalidasa's words were strengthened by inscriptions also. There was an inscription at Sri Hanuman Temple in Jaisalmer in Rajasthan. What it mentioned, it was published in the Journal of Royal Asiatic Society of Great Britain and Ireland in the year 1911. When a total of 4,890 years of Yudhishthira had gone, the year of Vikrama is 1854 and the year of Salivakana is also that much years. So 1719 years. So this shows that Yudhishthira lived around 3101 BCE. So there is an inscription evidence also for that. And I thank S.R. Bhandarkar sir. He exactly gave the transliteration of this inscription in his book. So it clearly proves that Yudhishthira lived around 3101 BC. And Abul Fasl Ibn Mubarak, a vizier in the court of Akbar, wrote a book Ain Akbari. In the first volume, third part, 263 page, he mentioned clearly that is 4696th year of Yudhishthira is equal to 40th year of Akbar. Akbar came to power in 1556 and his 40th year is 1595, and 49696 subtracted with 1595. So Yudhishthira rule will be around 310 BCE. So even evidence from Abul Fasl Ibn Mubarak, I think so. And Sir Alexander Cunningham endorsed this calculation in his book of Indian Eras. And Henry Thomas Colebrook, a famous Orientalist, in his book also mentioned that the epoch of Mahabharata war and the commencement of Kali Yuga and the era of Yudhishthira are almost the same in timeline. So all this literature proves that 3143 BC is correct date. Then coming to archaeology, in Dwaraka, the date at present is 1900 BC and 1600 BCE. Unfortunately, it was stopped If to have proceeded, now they would have given the date around 3000 BCE. And this Hastinapura excavations, they show 2800 BCE and 3000 BCE, which is well corroborate with date 3143 BC. And this Kurukshetra in Haryana state, based on thermoluminescence, it is an advanced scientific method that proves iron arrows and spearheads that were used in war. They were found on their date is 3100 BCE. So these are all exactly correct. So in Sinoli in Uttar Pradesh, the famous finding, horse-drawn chariots, at least before 2200 BCE. Initially, they thought, ASI thought the Mahabharata war would have happened around 1000 BCE, then 1500, now come to 2000. They are saying now before 2200. So if they do further excavations, they will definitely come to a conclusion that Mahabharata war was happened before 3100 BCE. That is the thing. This is the picture. So archaeology is well with the date 3143 BCE. Then Puranic chronology, Bharatian eras and calendar system. Purana, especially Vishnu, Srimad Bhagavatam, Matsya, Brahmanda and Vayu Purana, and also Kali Yuga Raja Vrittanta, a famous ancient Sanskrit text, detail the chronology of Kuru, Pandava Vamsa, Ikshvaka Vamsa and Magadha kingdom. In that Magadha kingdom, these texts mention that during the rule of Yudhishthira and Parikshat, the Saptarishi were in Magha constellation. So Kali Yuga Raja Vrittanta mentioned that 75 years before Kali Yuga and 25 years after Kali Yuga, for 100 years, this Saptarishi were in Magha constellation. And again, after that, it went to Aslesha. When it reaches Shravana Nakshatra, Nanda dynasty is ruling. That is 1500 years. 16th Nakshatra from Magha is the Shravana Nakshatra, if you calculate backwards in retrograde. So that also fit. And also, when it is in 24th Nakshatra, Andhra Sadhavagana dynasty will start ruling. That is 2400 years after Mahabharata. That is the thing. That is 700 to 800 BCE. And when it reaches 27th Nakshatra, Andhra Sadhavagana dynasty rule will going to end and Gupta dynasty will begin. And when it reaches Punarvashu Nakshatra, Gupta dynasty will fall. And when it reaches Purva Bhadrapada, the Magadha area will be ruled by Pada. So this is the chronology. If you apply the date 3143 BC, all these data will be satisfied. And Bhavishya Mahapurana mentioned that King Vikramaditya, who started his era in 57 BCE, was born in 3000 Kali. So that also favors 3143 date. And further, Varagimigra in his Brihat Samhita mentioned that 2526 years after Yudhishthira, the second Nirupa era began. That is Cyrus II, who became the emperor of Persia in 550 BC. Who is this Cyrus II? They are nothing but they are the Saka people who born from the Kamathenu when Vishwamitra and Vashishta were fought. So Kamathenu, to protect her, she gave birth to this Saka people. So they are our people only. So Cyrus is from Parasaka, that become Parasika, and he is the king emperor of Parasika, and he started his era in 550 BCE. So that shows 2526 plus 550, 3076 BCE. At that year only Yudhishthira went to heaven. So that also satisfied. So all the Bharatian chronology and also era system and almanacs. You see, Bharatian calendar system and almanac, today they say that it is 5122nd year of Kali. So 36 years if we add, it is 5160 years before present. So that also fit with well-made date 3143 BCE. So all Indian eras and also chronology found in literature and almanacs and calendar system, they are well accepting my date. So that is also there. Then coming to the inscriptions, I have found out more than 600 inscriptions that prove precisely that Kali Yuga began in 3101 BC. In that Aihole, Nidanpur, Bhatara and Jaisalmer inscription all directly mention Mahabharata, Pandava Vamsa and Yudhishthira. These inscriptions are distributed from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, north to south, Gujarat to Assam, west to east, thousands of kilometers away from one from other. And they are issued in different languages, issued by different kings and different dynasties, and different periods of time, from Kali Yuga 2000 to Kali Yuga 5033. That is, the time period is 3033 years. Instead of all these words, all these differences, they point precisely to one date, that Kali Yuga begin in 3101 BC. I will explain in my next lecture on Kali Yuga inscriptions. For want of time, I will explain only 3 inscriptions. Already I have mentioned Jaisalmer. So, Aihole inscription dated in 3735 Kali Yuga, and from independence to Aihole, the number of years will be approximately 1375, based on this 75, 150, 100, 250 like that. So, if we add this 1375 to 3735, that will be the present Kali Yuga date, that is 5110. It is 5122 because I have used only approximate, round figure only. So, it is also, Aihole inscription also proves that my date is correct. Then, Bhattara inscription, it is from Silhet. Here, it was issued by King Govinda Kesava Deva of Gaur dynasty from Silhet. It is in Bangladesh. Previously, it was in Assam. Its date is 4151 years after the era of King of Pandava, first King of Pandava. Pandava Kula Adi Pada Abda. Abda means here Adi Pada. Adi is first, Pada is king. So, first king of Pandava Vamsa, that is Yudhishthira. Govinda Kesava Deva period is 990 Common Era to 1040 Common Era. So, these inscriptions will be was issued only during this period only. So, the difference is 3161 BC to 3111 BCE is the date of Mahabharata. Based on this inscription, my date is 3143 BCE, much between these 2 dates. So, that also proves. Then coming to Nidanpur copper plate inscription, it was issued by King Bhaskar Varma, who is the king of Kamarupa or Pragjyotisha, that is Assam. What it mentioned that from Mahabharata war, because Bhagadatta is ancestor fought with Arjuna in Mahabharata war. That was mentioned in Nidanpur copper plate inscription and also in Mahabharata text of Vedavyasa and Drona Parva. So, there elapsed 3000 years and the ruling period of 16 kings. So, Bhaskar Varma was contemporary to Harshavardhana Pushyabodhi dynasty. Bhaskar Varma is from eastern Bharat and Harshavardhana is northern Bharat, and Pulikeshin II of western Chalukya is central Bharat, and Mahendra Varma Pandava dynasty southern Bharat. So, all this total Bharat is connected. And Huan Swang, a Buddhist, Chinese Buddhist traveler, he was also contemporary to Bhaskar Varma as per his writings. So, the Bhaskar Varma period will be around 610 BC. So, 3000 years plus 16 kings regnal period is equal to number of years from Mahabharata war up to 610 BCE. So, this shows, the calculation shows 753 years for 16 kings. So, it is totally acceptable. So, Nidanpur copper plate inscription also favors my date only. So, for want of time, only 4 I have described. And all these inscriptions correctly pointed out that the Kali Yuga began in 3101 BCE. And we know that Mahabharata war fought 36 plus years before Kali Yuga. So, it is favoring my date 3143 BC only. So, based on all these discussions, this Kali Yuga epoch through literature, epigraphical evidence, Saptarishi era, chronology of Pandava, Ikshavagan, Magadha dynasty, Vikrama, Salivagana and other inscriptions and writings of Aryabhatta, Viruddhagarga, Varagimira and Kalidasa, all are coherent, corroborative and harmonious with the date 3143 BC. That was our definite conclusion. And I am coming in the end part, but before concluding, it is my duty to explain to the august audience and also the professors why I have selected the calculations found in ancient astronomical texts instead of software. Because using software will be very easy now. I have to invest a few lakhs rupees to buy a good laptop and good internet connection and also good software. a few lakhs, that will be sufficient. And if you type, just basic knowledge of computer will be sufficient. So anybody can do, anybody can type the date and the computer will, the software give the Graha positions. It is very simple. Why I have not adapted the simpler procedure? Instead, I adapted this calculations based on astronomical test. It is a very cumbersome procedure because it is all trigonometric calculations. You should understand the Sanskrit and the explanation of the mathematics, and then you have to understand and you have to apply it to derive the Graha positions and lunar and the solar eclipse. So it is not an easy job. It is time consuming also, very hard job. Instead of that, 5 to 10 minutes spending on computer using a software, why I have to spend months together to derive the date of Mahabharata? That I have to explain. So 3 points are there for that. First, calendar system. You understand all this software either use Julian calendar or Gregorian calendar. What is the defect in Julian calendar? So it was altered from the Roman calendar in the 46 BCE, that is 708 AUC. And what they adapted is the 46 BCE year is the number of days will be 445 days. So much defect is there. Instead of 365.25 approximately, they adopted 445 days. So much defect is there. So based on using Julian calendar, we cannot derive correctly. And what about Gregorian calendar? In this, on the 4th October 1582, after that, the 5th October should come, but they altered into Thursday and Friday. That is okay. That the date is 15th October 1582. So 10 days have gone somewhere else. Where it has gone, we don't know. So Gregorian calendar also defective. Julian calendar also defective. That's why they are frequently adapting and correcting. And how many times they corrected? Only 2 things we know, Julian and Gregorian. How many times they corrected? Maybe there may be hidden alterations also. Because Europe was under dark age from 500 to 1500 common era. 1000 years total dark. So we don't know any data for that. So we don't know how many alterations, how many times it was altered, how much it was altered, we don't know. So it is all defective calendar system. Contrary to that, the Bharatian calendar system, it is accurate. See, in the beginning of the lecture, I told that is today's solar eclipse, all the 4 graha are there. So this almanac, not only today they calculated, after the invention of software, astronomical software, they calculated it thousands and thousands of years. The Mackenzie collection shows us that there are almanacs found in 1700 common era, that is 300 years before that. He copied that. So in our ancient thing, for conducting Vedic rituals, marriage ceremony and other important functions, and also to understand when the solar eclipse, because on the day of solar eclipse and lunar eclipse and Amavasya, we have to do Tarpanam to our ancestors. So all these important functions are to be carried out in the correct time. So they adapted this Bharatian calendar system since time immemorial, and throughout these thousands and thousands of years, they gave accurate results and no corrections were made. So because it is already accurate, why should we do corrections? And even now, Jataka and almanacs give Kali Suddha Din. What is the day of Kali Yuga today? Even for days they are correct. For Julian and Gregorian, for years they are not correct. And it is natural. See how our years start. Sauramana. Because Earth's revolution on the sun is imposed on sun. So when the sun entered and it started in conjunction with Ashwini Nakshatra, the year starts. So it is astronomical. And when the month starts, when the moon leaves the conjunction in the same longitude from the sun, or when it leaves the 180-degree conjunction from the sun. So it is all astronomical. Nothing is artificial, nothing is imaginary. And it is natural. When the sun entered into Ashwini Nakshatra, that is the beginning of Vasanta Ritu. Every tree will blossom. beautiful scenery will be there. So with the beauty, our year starts. So it is natural and astronomy. And there is no leap year. We are calculating years, thousands and thousands of years. We didn't found any leap year correction in any of the astronomical texts. How it is corrected? But it is correct. These people adapting leap year, they don't know even how to give February 28th or 29th day in 2000. Utter confusion were there. So yes, there is no confusion, there is no leap year. Because our ancestors, they adapted, they developed a system that there won't be any leap year, but it will be accurate. Because when the sun enters Ashwini Nakshatra, after sunset, that day will be counted in the last day of the previous year. If it enters before sunset, it will be counted as the first day of the new year. So some clever method they adopted. Okay. So with the bright daylight, it's auspicious, no? So the new year should start in auspicious time. And this is proved by Ahargana and Dyugana calculations. They calculate exact number of days from the reference point to record point. Number of days accurate calculation, not only number of years. That I can show inscription. In a Gramam inscription issued by Parantaka Chola Chakravarti, it mentions Kali year and Kali day. Kali year is 4044 and Kali day is given. If you divide this Kali day by the average days per year, it will give 4044. So we calculate even at the accuracy of number of days. So our Bharatian calendar system is unquestionable and accurate and well authenticated and scientific, and it can be repeated. It is proved correct for thousands years. And what if you found almanac, you can find an interesting point that the earth revolves around the sun not exactly in the same time every year. See, if you found almanac, I have analyzed, it is 365 days plus 18 Nadika in 1 year, and in another year 22 Nadika. So it varies from 13 to 22 Nadika. It is not constant. So that also our ancestors knew, and they applied in calculating the Graha position in almanac. So it is completely scientific. That's why and accurate and correct results will be obtained. So I prefer Bharatian calendar system against Julian and Gregorian and other Western calendar system, which are defective. So definitely they will give wrong results. So that's why I adopted this. Then the second point is precision of equinox. What do you mean by precision of equinox? That I will explain with this diagram. See, this is vernal equinox. This is autumn equinox. How these two circles came? This is Earth. Earth revolves around the sun in an elliptical pathway, and this pathway is known as ecliptic. In Sanskrit, there are terms for that, ecliptic. It is, we shouldn't not understand that we don't have any term for that, because we invented all these things thousands of years before, and there are Sanskrit terminology for that. So this is to easy to understand, I am using the ecliptic terminology. This is ecliptic, and since Earth is tilted, it is not like this. It is tilted like this. So this celestial equator, which is nothing but the extension of Earth's equator, Bhumadhya Rekha, into sky. So it is like this, and ecliptic pathway is like that because of the tilting of Earth. There cuts a degree of 23 degree 27 minutes. So these two circles cut at two places. One is at vernal equinox and another one is autumn. That is, this is the beginning of Vasanta Ritu, so it is vernal equinox. This is autumn equinox because it is the beginning of Sarad Ritu. So this is summer solstice. Maximum difference between celestial equator and ecliptic will be here. In the same way, this is winter solstice. That is, at this point, sun will be at Makara Rekha, that is Capricorn, and sun will be here at Kadak Rekha, that is northern part of Bharat, that is the Rekha of Cancer. So this is the basic thing. So what Western science mentioned, that this vernal equinox is slowly drifting backward. Like this, it is not constant placed in this place. It is moving backward. That is, this cutting place is not constant, but it is moving like this. This is known as precession of equinox. But the present day velocity is 50.27 seconds of arc. But in the ancient text, it mentioned 54, 60, 60. So this velocity varies with the time. And also, we don't know what is the value of this precision today, because different scholars give different value. On 14th April 2021, Lahiri gives this value. Raman, K.B. Raman, the famous astrologer, gives this value. And KP, old and new and Fuller and Amsa, see, there is no consensus among the scholars. So the value is also not exactly found out. And also the velocity also not uniform. It varies. That we should understand. And because of that, the year of 0 degree precision, that is when the vernal equinox was at this place, at the Ashwini Nakshatra, that is the 0 degree Ayanamsa. So when it occurred, Kalidasa mentioned in 105 BCE, that is 2125 years before. Varagimira in the same way mentioned in 1st century BCE. So both are in the same time. But Lahiri mentioned this year, B.B. Raman mentioned this year. See, you see a lot of difference. Consult, even 0 degree BCE. So from 532 to 0 BCE. So because of they calculated different velocities, the 0 Ayanamsa varies for them. So here also there is no consensus among the scholars. And beyond that, there is a third defect also. In Mahabharata text of Veda Vyasa and in any of the ancient texts of our nation, they won't give this, what is the value of this precision and velocity of the precision during Mahabharata text. Why they have not mentioned? Because Veda Vyasa narrates all the Graha position Nirayana. Nirayana. Ayana is precision of equinox. Ayana is movement. So this vernal equinox is moving backward. So it is Ayana. And Nir means no. Nir is equal to no. No Ayana. That is not taking into account of this precision of equinox. In Nirayana method only, Veda Vyasa give Graha positions. All the ancient astronomical texts give only Nirayana position. Why they give? Because Surya Siddhanta mentioned only oscillation of equinox. That is like a pendulum which swings to and fro. This equinox from 0 degree it moves forward to 27 degree, again backward to 27 degree. And again it comes to the 0 point. So whether it is precision or oscillation, how it is oscillation, I will explain. This is thing. So this is 0 degree. As per Surya Siddhanta, this vernal equinox moves like this 27 degree, then moves again back in 27 degree, then again come. Like this it will move. That is the thing explained by Surya Siddhanta. Whether it is oscillation or precision, only we can come to know only after 200 years. Because for the past 5,000 years, it is equinox is going backward from 27 degree east to 27 degree west, 54 degree. So it is going backward. It is as per modern science acceptance, it is 24 degree. So another 3 degree it has to go. It requires more than 200 years. Only after 200 years, we will come to know that whether it is oscillation, whether the vernal equinox is moving forward or not. Until then, we don't know whether it is precision is correct or not. And further, all these software calculations are based on the assumptions that the precision is 50.27 seconds of arc. That is the velocity throughout the past. It is uniform. Even after before 7,500 years, it is the same thing. Based on that only they are doing calculations. But our ancient astronomical texts mention it varies. The velocity varies from time. So, based on this, we got to understand one more point. That our Bharatian system, calendar system and the calculation of astronomy, they calculated this 12 zodiac sign and 27 nakshatra based on ecliptic pathway of the moon. So based on this, 30 degree above, 30 degree below, 30 degree above, 30 degree below. It is a belt. So what are all the stars situated in this belt? Star groups. They consider that alone and they divide that star groups into 27. So that is why Ashwini from the vernal equinox, Bharani, Kritika, Rohini, Mrigashirisa, Trivadara, like that it goes. Punarpusha, Pusha, Ayalya, like that it goes. So it is all based on the ecliptic pathway of the earth. So these 27 zodiac Rasi Nakshatra group is again divided into 12 zodiac sign based on the fact that 2 nakshatra and 1/4 of the third nakshatra forms a zodiac sign. Each nakshatra is 13 degree 20 minutes. So 2 into 2.25 it will come to 30 degree. So this is the Mesa zodiac sign, then Rishabha, then Mithuna. Each quarter will have 3 zodiac signs. So this is the method how this zodiac sign and nakshatra system were evolved in Bharatian system. But Western system, they also developed zodiac signs, but it is based on vernal equinox cutting point. So our Mesa 0 degree is fixed. Ashwini is fixed here only. Because all nakshatra are stationary, they won't move as far as Earth is concerned. So because Ashwini is always here, Mesa 0 will be always here. It is fixed. It is not moving. But the Aries sign, the Western zodiac sign, it is based on the cutting point of the vernal equinox. When the vernal equinox goes back, this Aries 0 will also go back. That is their how they developed this zodiac sign. So it is based on vernal equinox. Ours is based on the ecliptic of the earth. That we should understand. So when Sun enters into Ashwini, it is the beginning of Mesa Rasi and it is the beginning of month Saitra in our calculation. But in Sayana method, if we consider the 24 degree backwards is the cutting point of vernal equinox, then that point will be Bhadrapada Nakshatra and Meena Rasi. So the vernal equinox where it starts, that is the beginning of Vasanta Ritu. Whenever the sun crosses the Earth's equator, then only Vasanta Ritu will start. So vernal equinox is the point at which the Vasanta Ritu start. So for us now the Vasanta Ritu start from Bhadrapada Nakshatra in Meena zodiac sign and it is Phalguna month. So now Vasanta Ritu starts in Phalguna 7, not in Chaitra 1. That we should understand. So for them it is correct. For Sayana method it is correct. For us, the Vasanta Ritu is drifting backwards and it started earlier, 24 days earlier itself in the Phalguna month. Like that, if we calculate this precision of equinox to assess the Mahabharata date, then the equinox as per this precision of equinox is drifting backwards. So in the ancient period, it would have been here. 7,500 years, it will be more than 105 degree. So this precision of equinox will be here. So Vasanta Ritu will start here. But our month is, this is Chitra, this is Vishaka, this is Jeshta. So Vasanta Ritu starts in Ashada month. For us, this is the Ashwina month and Kartika month. For us, this is the Sarad Ritu. But if we apply this, then Sarad Ritu will be here. That is Margashisha and Pushya month. Pushya and Magha month. This is Margashisha and Pushya month. So the month changes. If we apply precision of equinox to calculate Mahabharata date, then Mahabharata text should mention that the Sarad Ritu should be in Pushya and Magha month or Margashisha and Pushya month. Not definitely in Kartika, Ashwini and Kartika. But what Mahabharata text says, you have to assess. So Sarad Ritu should have occurred in Margashisha and Pushya and Magha month. But what Mahabharata text, internal evidence of Mahabharata, when Sri Krishna went to peace mission, it mentioned on the Revati Nakshatra and Kaumudi Masi, that is Kartika month, and it is the end part of Sarad Ritu, and Hemanta Ritu is going to come. So Kartika month is the end part of the Sarad Ritu, means it began in Ashwini month, as per this. So Mahabharata text mentions Saradritu here only, not here. So it totally contradicts the application of precision of equinox to derive Mahabharata date. So in Vanaparva also it is rather Saradritu and is Kartikam. There are two evidence in Mahabharata text to disprove the application of precision of equinox in calculating the date of Mahabharata. And all these Western software, they use precision of equinox only to calculate the Graha positions in the ancient, future and present. So I am not saying that precision of equinox application in Western astronomy is not correct, but its application to derive Mahabharata date alone is wrong. So we should not apply that method. So software derivation of Mahabharata date will definitely lead to defective results only. That is the thing we conclude with this. And the third point is, what is the best method is, I have to explain, sorry. I have used my reference book, Grahalagavam, Ganesha Daivagna. It describes the Nirayana positions of the Graha. And Mahabharata text Veda Vyasa reveals only Nirayana Graha. So I calculated the Graha position from Nirayana to Nirayana. So I need not use precision of equinox. But for software, they have to use precision of equinox, and application of precision of equinox in deriving date Mahabharata will lead to defective results. But since I am not using that precision of equinox, I directly go from Nirayana to Nirayana. So there will not be any error occur in my calculations. In the West, in the software, they mix Sayana with Nirayana, West with Bharatian. So errors definitely occur, and we cannot even calculate how much error was there. That is the thing. And the third thing is, now astronomy software, many software you know better than me, they caution us that its value will not be correct before 5500 BC. So this is for Graha position in solar system. That is, moon is 3,84,400 kilometers from Earth, and Saturn is 142 crores 70 lakhs kilometers from Earth, average distance. Even for this, it will not be correct before 500 BC. Then how can we say about 5,500 BC, 3,100 BC? Definitely we cannot say. Much error will be there. Further, one more thing, Arundhati and Vashishta, they are at a distance of 80 light years from us. That means 7 crore 56 lakhs 85,843 crores. It is 142 crores 70 lakhs. How much time will be there? 7 crore 56 lakhs 85,843 crore. It is only 142. So how much error will occur for Arundhati Vashishta if you use software? You can imagine. You yourself judge. So this Arundhati Vashishta calculation, I have to say that it is also based on precision of equinox, which cannot be applied to derive the Mahabharata date, because it is defective for Mahabharata date. So how much will be the correctness of this thing, you can understand. So I come to the conclusion now. My humble appeal is, our nation, beloved nation, Bharat, is a vast nation. Definitely it is a very great nation, very big nation. And we have a great and much antiquity. At least from Mahabharata, we have a date of antiquity of 5,100 years, which cannot be imagined by any of the Western countries or any other country in the world. And we have abundant resource materials, both literature, epigraphy, archaeological survey, and anything. If you take abundant, lakhs and lakhs of source materials are there. And dynasties, hundreds and hundreds of dynasties have ruled our nation. So one individual, even he is the great knowledgeable person or ability with capacity, everything may be there with him. And even if he devote his whole time for this rewriting our nation's history, he cannot do it correctly and completely, whoever may be. So a teamwork is needed. So in this national and dharmic mission, because I know Sangam Talks is working for dharmic mission only, I request Sangam Talks and also the eminent scholars and the great personalities and all the students and all who listen my lecture, give the nation the moral, physical, and also, if possible, financial support. We have only a small team. More people are required because we have to copy the inscriptions from various parts of our nation. We have to copy the manuscripts from various libraries, important libraries in our nation and also in Europe and America. So I humbly request them to support this national mission. And our nation is our beloved mother. As a humble duty to our mother, we, as her sons and daughters, can participate in this national mission of rewriting our nation's history and chronology in a correct way and a precise way. It is an important work aspect. It should be done immediately. It is already too late. So we have to do it in a powerful, fast, and it is the prime duty at present day. We should not delay it. So in this mission, yes, the sons and daughters of our beloved mother, we should involve in ourselves wholeheartedly. And our house, our history and chronology is not in order. And we may not expect others to do it and make it proper and order. It is ultimately, it is our duty to make it in order. So I humbly request everyone to denote some time on this. And it is my prayer. With that, I conclude that the year of Mahabharata War is 42nd year before Kali Yuga. That is 41st year before Kali Yuga, 41st year, and 8,63,959th year of Dwapara Yuga, and 5163 years before present, and 3143 BCE. In this, I have analyzed data for 2,301 years. That is from 4,301 BCE to 2000 BCE. I wholeheartedly express my nandri, dhanyavadaga, and thank you for the Sangam Talks. They only arranged and helped me to propagate this my ideas to the whole society. They are doing dharmic duty, and I wholeheartedly express my thanks to Sangam Talks and also the great professors and all the persons who are listening my lecture. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Namaskaram, vanakkam, sir.
Vanakkam, sir.
It was great listening to you, especially in should I speak in Tamil? Then
sir, you speak in English so that everybody will know, sir.
Aparna will not understand.
Okay,
others will not understand.
Yes.
Especially why you have not taken this precision of equinox, why you have taken this precision of equinox into account, and why you have not taken the Sayana methods for calculation. You have explained it beautifully. My one small request is, see, you have identified the relational issues and problems in the Gregorian calendar and the Western system of calendaring. I think a separate talk on this particular topic of how our calendar system is superior to the Western calendar system, I think that will be in order. So someday, sometime, since you already studied it,
Pleasure is mine, sir. I will definitely do it, sir.
Achha, secondly, small question. The Westerners, we take the precision of equinox as 50.27 per year. Okay. Now, is this the average which they have taken it from 50.44 to 50.12? Have they taken the average like that?
Average only. Like even if you see Lecri's ephemeris, and also even in the Western astronomy, the precision of equinox varies with the year. Even varies within the month. The velocity varies. It is not constant. That definitely. Even this, I want to say one more thing. This Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, it is varies from 22.1 degree to 24.5 degree. But it is not going beyond 24.5 to 90 degree. So it is oscillating. From 24.5, it again to 22.1, again goes for 24.5. So it is oscillating. So it is like Surya Siddhanta, which mentions the equinox also like this Tropic of Cancer, which oscillates, it is also oscillating. So there are, even in modern science, there are evidence for proving oscillation of equinox is correct. So it is not a exact number. Every day it is not constant. It varies. What you are told is correct, sir. It varies. Precision of equinox, velocity varies between years.
Sir, it is an excellent lecture, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So you have combined all the things, and you have gave a date for Mahabharat.
Yes.
Mahabharat. So I have one question.
Okay, sir.
You have mentioned that so during the war, the sunset was 5:25.
Yes.
And the moon rise was 7:45 p.m.
Yes. On the 14th day of war.
So, 14th day of war. So that must be in December month.
So that we cannot say, because converting Bharatian calendar months into Western calendar months, it is adopting the precision of equinox method. So I have explained that precision of equinox will not hold good for the very ancient days. So that if we convert into this English month, there will be a problem. But you can take that it is in Margashirsha month. Margashirsha month is a cold decision for northern hemisphere, that is especially our nation Bharat. So it will be, sun will be in the maximum declination, that is nearing to the Tropic of Capricorn. So the daytime will be less. See, even in Panchanga, if you see Akash, they will give what will be the daytime, how many Nadika. In near day, near vernal equinox and autumn equinox, the Nadika for daytime is 30 Nadika. But when it go nearer to Tropic of Capricorn, the Nadika will reduce to 28, 27 Nadika. When the sun enters into the northern hemisphere, that is Tropic of Cancer, the Nadika will be 32, 33. So definitely the sun was in the southern hemisphere. It is rising, the sunlight reaching directly in a vertical position to the southern hemisphere. So here in northern hemisphere, the sunset will be earlier.
Bhishma Mukti was in Rohini Nakshatra.
Yeah.
That was requested by Bhishma to Krishna.
See, Bhishma want to leave the world in Uttarayana only. That is his decision. Because Mahabharata war 10th day was fought on the Dakshinayana course of sun. So he want to attain Mukti in Uttarayana course of sun. So he want to wait till Uttarayana has to come. That's why he preferred to lie on an aeroplane. But there is no evidence to that Bhishma requested Sri Krishna that I should attain Mukti on Rohini Nakshatra. Maybe it happened on that day, Rohini Nakshatra. Rohini Nakshatra means moon will be in conjunction with Rohini Nakshatra, and it is auspicious. It is definitely auspicious. Rohini, Pushya and Shravana Nakshatra were auspicious. So luckily for Bhishma, it happened. Or it may be he requested Sri Krishna and Krishna accepted that.
Okay. Sir, you had mentioned in the passing that Shaka are related to Bharat and to Pandavas. Can you explain that a little more, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Sri Ramayana, Srimad Ramayana, in that is Balakanda, Ayodhya Kanda or Balakanda, when Vishwamitra's ancestry, that was to be, his history is to be revealed, in that it is mentioned Vishwamitra was a king. His name is Kausika Raja. And once he went to Vana forest, where Vasishta is doing tapas. And Kamadhenu is with him. And even for the whole entire army, Vasishta fed all rich food, because Kamadhenu is with him. So Kausika Raja requested Vasishta to give Kamadhenu to him. Instead of he will donate a lot of wealth to him. But Vasishtha refused, and it is Kamadhenu, the holy cow, it has to decide. But he pulled it, but Kamadhenu requested Vasishtha to help, and Vasishtha explained that you have enough power, you can protect yourself. I am a very ordinary person, sage, who is doing tapas in this, you can protect. So from her, from other parts, this Saka, Paklika, Yavana, including Yavana. You are calling Yavana as Greek, that is wrong. Yavana came from the Yoni of Kamadhenu. That's why they call Yavana. Yavana were there even in Ramayana period in Mahabharata. So Kala Yavana history is there. Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Krishna defeated him using Mukunda Chakravarti. So Yavana were there very past. So Saka were born out of the body of Kamadhenu, and they are Kshatriyas. They fought with Vishwamitra army and defeated, and Vishwamitra realized the power of tapas, and he relinquished his kingdom and went for tapas. That is the history. So this Saka, there are many Saka there. One of the group is Parasaka. That is much greater Saka people, much upper. They went to a land called Parasaka. They lived there. And this Parasaka became Parasika, later Iran. So Cyrus is from that Saka, we call as Satrapa or Saityan in Bharatian history. They even ruled during Andhra Sadhavahana period, the Malwa and Gujarat. That's why Cyrus defeated his opponent, and he became the emperor of entire Parasika, Iran. And that year was 550 BCE, and that was calculated as a new era. Era should be calculated when an important historical event should happen. Then only it can be calculated as an era. Because these Saka people ruled Malava and other Gujarat area. This Saka era were introduced in India. So we are still following 2080 and BCE. Though the British left 75 years nearly, we still following. So whenever the ruler changed, their era is followed. So that era was followed by Varakimigra, who lived in 100 BCE. So 500 BCE was the 550 is the era starting. So it was there in India for 500 years. So it is a Saka era. It is mentioned as Saka Kala or Saka Bhupa Kala. Bhupa is a king. Saka Nirupa Kala. Nirupa is king. So Saka Nirupa, Saka Bhupa is definitely Cyrus II, not Salivakana. Salivakana is the king of, not king of Saka. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Raja, I would like to ask that nowadays, after we heard Nilesh Oak's research, which is based on the Gregorian calendar, I think. Yours is based on the Bharatiya calendar.
It's based on either Gregorian or Julian, I don't know.
Right. And there is this Dr. Saroj Bala also in New Delhi, who's dated Ramayana and Mahabharat Kal. So, number one question. Okay. Are there any debates, or maybe do they contradict each other, the dates that you have come up with, and is there any discussion going on? That is my first question. My second question is that so far they're all individual studies. Are we presenting them in form of, like, what are we doing so that it comes into the mainstream curriculum, mainstream narrative, the academia? Are they being introduced in the texts, in the course curriculum of any universities, or what? Because that will happen only once these researches are corroborated and we've come to one final conclusion that it can come into academia. So these are my two questions.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I have expressed my willingness for debate 3 times. 3 well-known YouTube channels, and they are tried for that, but from the other end there was no response, so I couldn't do any debate. But I am still ready for debate. Any channel like Dharmic channel, like Sangam Talks, or any channel, if they take up the debate, I am ready for the debate to discuss, because we have to discuss things and we have to arrive at a correct date. That is our aim. Not my date alone is correct. That should not be there. So we have to rewrite our beloved nation's history and chronology. For that, any steps we can take, we can accept. That is first question. If there is a debate, I am willing to do a debate, and so that the correct thing will evolve for the nation's sake. Second thing is, I have analyzed all these things. I have read Kota Venkatachala and many books. So I am a very humble person. I have read many books. Because of that only I can able to explain this thing. So because since I am a very ordinary person, I cannot influence the government or university to bring this in the curriculum. So there are many great personalities who may listen our lecture. They are listening my lecture. They may, if they take interest and the government is willing to hear me, I am ready to give all my data to the government so that it will be occur the correct history. See, one nation can progress only if there are two things. One is education, correct education, and correct history. If the nation doesn't understand its history properly, then the nation will not be free for long. That is the thing. So that's why, because I am an individual, I cannot do much change in education. So history I can take. So for that basis only I took interest in history and read many books. So if there is any help, if there is any request from the government, I am ready to cooperate and give all my data to them so that the correct history and chronology of our nation should be evolved and they should come into the curriculum so that our youngsters, our future India, future Bharat, they should understand their ancestors' history properly. That should be our motive.